couple upgrades done on the Mustang that I've been looking at doing for a while now. Pretty much for the most part, pretty basic upgrades. It does come stock from Roush with all their stuff. A couple performance upgrades that got done on it though. Starting first and foremost, we got the shifter replaced, manual transmission on it. So I got a new shifter on it, definitely tightened up the shifts. Helps ensure that you just don't miss any gears. A lot tighter shifting. It is a short throw shifter. I didn't notice a huge difference on that. But yeah, pretty happy with the shifter. That's been a pretty nice little change there. Performance wise, haven't noticed a huge difference on it, just cleans it up a lot, so that helped a lot. I liked it. The next thing that I did on it was I got the JLT Big Air Cold Air Intake. I didn't research a whole lot of the different cold air intakes out there. I have a fantastic performance shop that very well known, great crew that does it at HPP Motorsports. Just let them pick it. It's basically a cold air intake, so I figured they know what they're doing. It definitely helped out a lot, just replacing the stock air box that came on it with a cold air. And then I did a pulley, more to come on that. Kind of the main purpose of the video here is the pulley. So I went from an 85 millimeter pulley on the stock Roush Supercharger, I think is what they put on theirs, and it pulled it to an 82 millimeter. So if you're considering swapping your pulleys out, make sure you have a good tuning shop that you're working with. And then you have to be very conscientious of the size pulley you're trying to put on it. From what I read and understood on the pulley options, is that if I were to go lower than 82 millimeter, might be pushing the power a little bit too high on the car, and you have to consider going into new fuel systems, different things like that, as far as if you got too high on that pulley, 79 millimeter, etc. So for where I'm at on this car, 82 millimeter was the way I went. Main purpose of the upgrades, main thing I don't like, the power has been easy fix. I think it's on up there now. But the supercharger pulley sound, whenever I get on it, I want to be able to hear the supercharger. The Shelbys do a great job with, I think it's Whitmore, I don't know. Whatever superchargers they use, the Hellcats have a great sound in their supercharger. I personally just love it. Couldn't hear it on mine. That's the biggest thing that I wanted done. Nailed it. I love it. So if you're looking at options to go with, to try and get your supercharger a little bit louder, I can personally test that, and these videos should help us see the difference before and after, that if swapping the pulley definitely helps. So it makes sense. I'm not real smart on the whole car upgrade thing, but from what I understand, it's just you're spinning the belt on a smaller pulley, so it's just less, quicker turns, it's just louder. I don't know. It worked, so really happy with it. Can hear it really well in the car. Outside the car, I have a few videos that I'll put on here, but it doesn't sound, I can't hear it outside the car. I don't think it's as noticeable. But then again, I don't have a whole lot of feedback or people riding beside me that could give me a before and after. But I can say, once you actually engage supercharger over 3,000 RPMs, it's phenomenal. I mean, you can hear it perfectly spinning up. It's not a constant whine. I've heard some cars out there, some superchargers out there, it's like even just regular day-to-day driving, you're hearing the pulley of the supercharger whining. Not necessarily what I was going for or what I wanted, but I think for what this one does, it definitely helps hear it. When you actually get into the supercharger, you can hear it really well, so happy with that. I'm going to get a quick pull here at this light. Hopefully we don't have too much company at one of my favorite spots. It's a huge win. The other thing I did, I'm going to get a pull here in a second, but the other thing I did was a custom tune. If you get these kind of upgrades done on your car, you should already know this, but you have to have it reprogrammed. Putting down this kind of power and this kind of torque and everything that's going on in the engine, I do not personally want to mess with the canned tunes you can get from Bama or I don't know, VMP, whoever it is. I paid for a custom dyno tune from a really well-known, reputable shop, and so I trust their work. Their tune alone opened up more on the tune here in a second. So about to get a pull on the Supercharger. I want to just listen to the pulley sound you can get in second and third gear. Here we go. It's noticeable. Hopefully on the video it gives it justice. A lot of times, you know, when I see something on video, it's not quite as big of a change as in person, but hopefully that I got a good third gear pull. Second gear wasn't as good as I was hoping for, lost the traction on it, but third gear got a good pull on it, got a little bit into fourth there, and it's just, you can really hear that thing spinning well now. Love it, love it, love it. So if you're looking at options to try and get that Supercharger a little bit more noticeable, before and after pulley swap here for me. I got some good videos on the inside. Hopefully you can hear the difference on it, but it definitely, I noticed a huge difference on my car. We are now pushing like 670 horsepower at the engine, and on the dyno they got it up to 583 or in the mid 580s at the wheel. So coming from, God, I can't remember. I mean, Roush says that at the engine it's 565, you know, so I think I picked up at least 100 horsepower off the upgrades. Back to the tune, the custom tune. I expected to probably be pushing in the neighborhood of 625 at the engine, probably pushing in the neighborhood of 625 horsepower. You know, so 625, 630. When they told me the numbers, it was astonishing because I expected the pulley and the cold air intake to get me up into that 620, 630 horsepower range at the engine. And so when it's pushing 670 at the engine, 580 at the wheels or so, and assuming a 15% power loss, how I came up with those numbers, 10 to 15%. Incredible. I mean, that means that they opened up HPP and their team. I mean, they're just fantastic. They opened up like 30, 40 horsepower or more just by their tune, just by retuning the engine, which isn't uncommon. I mean, Roush, I've heard from many people that they put a 3-year warranty, 3 or 36,000 mile warranty on their package, which makes sense from a business perspective. They're gonna, you know, try and keep the power dialed back quite a bit. They're very conservative on their tuning. You know, but so they opened up a lot. I think it was fantastic. I don't know if you can hear it there or not, but they did a great job on the tuning. I love it. And then just the only other thing is now it's going to be tires on it. The only downside I've had since I got the upgrades is, you know, when you're really stepped it up a notch on the torque, is it really tough on the shifting now because got the thing. It's just torqued up so high. I forgot what the torque numbers were. I had to look it up, but really good gains on the horsepower torque. Really happy with it. I hope these videos are helpful for anyone who might be trying to consider getting that Supercharger a little bit louder. Know what your pulley size is and what you're trying to go to and what you're trying to do with the car. If there's some room, if you're running 85, 87, whatever millimeter pulley on your car, and you know you can safely get down to 82 millimeters, you know, to try and help out, you can definitely start to hear it a little bit better. So hope it's helpful. And then up next, we'll see if we can't get some new videos on the outside and the inside for before and after. Bye.